No contact, it's not just a strategy, it's psychological warfare. And right now, you're wondering if she's even thinking about you at all, or if she's already moved on. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever walked out of a room and hoped someone would chase after you, but they didn't? That silence, that stillness, that ache in your chest, it's not weakness, it's power waiting to be directed. But here's the kicker. Most men break no contact because they can't sit with discomfort. They reach out first, they explain, they beg, and they lose her respect forever. So today, I'm not here to tell you to wait around. I'm going to show you how to turn no contact into a magnetic force so intense she has no choice but to chase you. Comment the word magnet if you're done chasing and ready to become the force she can't escape. Let's begin. 1. Detach emotionally, but level up relentlessly. No contact doesn't mean sitting by the phone. It means you go cold, not because you don't care, but because you care about yourself more. Women don't chase a man who vanishes. They chase a man who evolves while he's gone. Go ghost, then glow up. She expects silence. She doesn't expect transformation. Hit the gym, not just for the body, but for the discipline. Build your finances, not to impress, but to dominate your purpose. Develop stoic focus, not to numb yourself, but to sharpen your edge. Here's what she's doing in her mind while you're off becoming a weapon. She's checking your socials. She's asking mutual friends. She's watching from the shadows. But if she sees the same guy who was always too available, too emotional, too reactive, she'll forget you like last night's dream. But if she sees a man unrecognizable from the one she walked away from, she starts questioning her decision. Regret creeps in. Curiosity becomes obsession. No contact works. 2. Let her sit with the silence. It screams louder than words. Here's what most men get wrong. They rush the silence. They assume if she hasn't reached out after a few days, it's over. But women are emotional processes. They don't react immediately. They marinate in their feelings and silence. Silence is your secret soldier. Here's the psychology behind it. People assign meaning to absence. When someone disappears, the brain fills in the blanks. Now imagine she's scrolling. She sees your name pop up. She expects a hey, but it never comes. Days turn into weeks. That silence becomes deafening. She starts wondering, why hasn't he reached out? Is he over me? Did I mean nothing? Did he find someone better? The ego hates unanswered questions, especially a woman's ego, when she's used to being chased. And the more she feels the absence, the more she romanticizes your presence. Even if the relationship had cracks, she forgets those. The silence reshapes the memory. But here's the catch. If you break that silence too soon, you become predictable, and predictability kills attraction. Don't just give her silence. Let her suffer in it. 3. Subtly re-enter her world without chasing. Once the silence has done its job, you don't just pop up with a desperate, "Hey!" You haunt her softly. Maybe you show up on mutual stories. Maybe you drop a photo that screams, "I'm doing better without you." You don't message. You let the digital breadcrumbs fall where they may. Here's what you're doing psychologically. You're reactivating the emotional bond without initiating direct contact. And the moment she reaches out with a, "Hey, stranger," you don't leap. You don't celebrate. You respond strategically, calm, collected, with a slight delay that says, "I've been busy." She'll ask, "So how have you been?" And you reply, focused, one word, stoic, icy. Let her do the heavy lifting now. You've already made your statement with silence and growth. Now she's the one playing catch-up. She's chasing your new energy. That's not manipulation. That's emotional gravity, the power of selective reappearance. Don't just return, resurface like a storm. When the dust has settled and the silence has wrapped around her like a cold blanket, don't just return, resurface. But don't do it like some guy who's checking in. You walk back into her line of sight like a storm she thought had passed, but now looks even more dangerous. So what does that look like? Let's say you post a photo, not for attention, but to mark the evolution. Something simple. You with your crew, you laughing hard, you somewhere new. Not posed, not perfect, just authentically unbothered. You don't caption it, new me. You caption it something cryptic, something she doesn't understand but can't ignore. Now she's wondering who took that photo. Why does he look better now? Why? Do I feel like I'm missing something? Women don't chase men who disappear. They chase men who disappear and come back sharper, colder, unreachable. If she messages, don't reply right away. Let her sweat in that space. That delay, that's not a game. That's respecting your value. You're not ghosting. You're showing restraint. You're not hiding. You're letting her come to you. A high-value man doesn't remind her what she had. He makes her regret letting it go. 5. How you speak changes the chase from desperate to desired. Here's what separates the ones she runs from and the ones she runs after: your words. Once she reaches out, what you say and how you say it matters more than ever. And let me tell you, 90% of men mess this part up. They go soft. They say things like, "I missed you so much. I couldn't stop thinking about you. Why did we even break up?" Boom, she's out. Why? Because she knows she still has you wrapped around her finger. But a stoic man? He flips the dynamic. He's polite, calm, slightly distant. He drops subtle, powerful phrases like, "Hope you're doing well. I've been good, just locked in. I've had a lot of clarity lately." These phrases do two things. They show zero emotional desperation. They create curiosity. She wants to know what that clarity is. And if she's part of it or not. You're planting seeds without begging. You're pulling her in by showing strength, not need. And remember this, the woman who chases you is the one who feels you slipping through her fingers without explanation. When you speak like a man with options who's walked through the fire and didn't come out desperate, that's when she starts thinking, did I lose the man he's becoming? And that's when the chase begins. Conclusion, become the man. She can't forget, no contact is not just about ignoring someone. It's about transforming yourself into someone she can't ignore. When done right, it becomes one of the most powerful psychological tools a man can use, not to manipulate, but to reclaim self-respect, emotional control, and masculine power. Let's be clear. No contact isn't just about making her miss you. It's about becoming a man who doesn't need to be missed, but can't be replaced. Real-world example. Imagine two men go through a breakup. Man A texts her after 4 days. "I miss you, can we talk?" She responds politely, but she already knows she still has power. Game over. Man B goes silent. Hits the gym. Works late. Posts a picture 2 weeks later laughing with friends, looking better, sharper, no texts, no reach-outs. She sees the change, feels the absence, and wonders, what if I lost him for good? When she finally texts, he responds 6 hours later with, "Hope. You're doing well. I've been focused." He doesn't beg, he doesn't chase. Now she's the one seeking answers. Final advice, how to use no contact. Like a weapon, disappear with purpose. Don't just be silent, become scarce and dangerous. Like a storm on the horizon. Stop checking her socials. Start building your empire. Glow up, not just physically, but mentally. Read books. Learn a new skill. Meditate. Upgrade your wardrobe. Every step forward increases the emotional gap she has to close. Control the re-entry. When you return, do it through energy, not through direct action. Show up in places she didn't expect. Look unbothered. Sound focused. Your presence should say, "I've changed and maybe you're no longer part of this chapter." Speak like a man with options. Never sound like you're seeking closure or validation. Use calm, minimalist replies. All's good. I've had clarity. Let her curiosity do the work. Respect the silence. If she doesn't reach out, that's still a win. You stayed disciplined. A man who keeps his standards high never loses, he filters. Remember, A woman doesn't chase a man she understands. She chases a man who became a mystery, a man who disappeared not to be found, but to become unforgettable. So next time you feel the urge to text, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, am I acting out of fear or out of power? Because when a man walks away with calm eyes, sharpened purpose, and cold silence, he becomes a ghost she'll never stop chasing. If this is hitting harder than just dating advice, if you're starting to feel the fire in your chest that says, I will not be that man who begs, then you've already leveled up. Subscribe right now to Stoic Practice of Virtue, where we don't chase, we build, we evolve, we attract. And in the comments, drop the word ghost mode. That's our signal. The code for men who disappear, not to hide, but to haunt their past. Let her chase a ghost she'll never catch. Because when a man masters silence, purpose, and control, he becomes unforgettable.